In this follow-up segment, we look closer at the recent settlement reached between former GenRe and AIG executives with the U.S. Justice Department over reinsurance transactions from more than a decade ago. To help sort this out, we reached out to noted author and authority on finite risk and reinsurance. Andy Barile joins us now from California. Andy, welcome to the program.
Thank you. It's great to be back.
So, Andy, can you summarize the original allegations?
Well, they were alleging a situation where these were accounting fraud charges under a particular reinsurance agreement, which is actually considered it's a retrocessional loss portfolio reinsurance agreement between the AIG and Berkshire Hathaway, or the General Reinsurance Corporation company within the Berkshire Hathaway Group.
You're familiar with the original transactions. Did you see anything illegal there?
No, I didn't see anything wrong with it. I think it was just part of the custom and practice of a retrocessional loss portfolio reinsurance agreement. I mean, my only issue was that if the insurance industry stock analysts had been educated properly in understanding some of the finite covers and spent more time understanding what the consequences of those covers were, they would have been in a better position to explain to shareholders what exactly was going on in different insurance companies that were using these types of agreements. I'm upset that they didn't spend a lot of time with my chapters of my textbook, which I explain what loss portfolio reinsurance agreements are all about. You know, there were hundreds of them written during 1991 to 2005. The finite agreements actually saved a number of insurance companies that were out on the verge of going bankrupt, and was a big benefit to the insurance buying public.
So what do you make of the new settlement?
Well, I think the new settlement is just is essentially a fine and because they're talking about the prosecutors agreed to drop the case in a year if the executives abide by the accords and follow the law. So it's just like saying, well, if you don't do this again, don't worry, we won't bother about it, and we'll just take the monetary fine. To do personally from somebody who spent a lot of time reviewing hundreds of finite risk reinsurance agreements, I think essentially this whole thing was a waste of time.
Do you think the settlement is fair?
Well, I think it's a fair outcome, and just in fact that it's forming closure between Hank Greenberg of AIG and Warren Buffett of Berkshire Hathaway, and having this thing come to an end with two icons in the business.
Did anything change in the industry because of this case?
Yes, I think the finite reinsurance contract created an issue in the industry that said, well, people can actually go to jail over writing a reinsurance agreement, and so the whole industry got completely changed, and a lot of the new agreements that we use now are called structured reinsurance agreements and not called finite reinsurance agreements. But there's, in terms of still using loss portfolio reinsurance agreements, they're certainly used in the captive insurance industry when a captive is looking to exit the business. They're used in the sale of an insurance company from one party to another, where the loss portfolio is taken out of the company and transferred to another insurance company for the potential exposures. So it didn't change specifically. I think it's just changed how the industry would look at this a lot more carefully. The big accounting firms now spend a great deal of time analyzing the agreements for risk transfer and everything else. So I think it was sort of a wake-up call to the industry that we can't write reinsurance agreements on napkins.
Andy, thank you so much for being on our program.
Thanks again.